What's up, YouTube? This is Rocky. I'm uploading a new video for this week. I'm uploading a new video for this week because, every week as I continue to practice those new, more positive, more productive behaviors, I realize that I'm passing milestones in my life. And one of the milestones that I'm passing is the feeling of guilt because I'm enjoying what I'm eating. I'm enjoying what I eat. I'm enjoying how I eat. And I know that it's a lot better than I used to eat. I'm more aware of my caloric intake. I'm aware of, I've become more and more aware of the necessities of incorporating fibers, proteins, and what do you call it? I don't know. More foods into your diet to curb cravings, to curb bad behaviors, to curb bad eating, that emotional eating, that eating that we engage in, that we go to whatever is in there because we just need to fill that void in our lives. We need to fulfill a need. To enjoy ourselves, to feel worthy, to feel basically. And what I did not understand is that one thing that I did not understand is that I don't think that as when it comes to eating that we're that emotional. I think that there are certain things that trigger us. And that is that lack of protein, that lack of fiber that we need, that kind of, works in our gut to control how we feel, that controls impulses, that controls certain types of behavior, that controls serotonin reuptake, that controls so much because the body is a mechanism. It's a mechanism. It's not one organ working at one time and another organ working at another time and another system working at another time. All of this works together. And one of the ways and we fuel ourselves by what we eat. We fuel ourselves by what we eat. And I was watching a number of videos that talk about an increase in your protein and your fiber and how it affects you. And I noticed that these people were markedly happier. That they were happier, they had more energy, they had more positive motivation, that they were looking forward to cooking meals, that they were looking forward to exercising, that they were looking forward to doing anything that contributed to their health and wellness. And I had my light bulb moment. I had that epiphany. I was like, this is what my diet is missing. And which is why I started loving my smoothies. I was like, I was so proud of myself. I said, I'm craving these smoothies because in my smoothies, I pack avocados, I pack bananas, I pack greens, and that's the most protein I get in a day. But I need to find a way to incorporate at least 100 to more than 200 grams of protein more in my diet. And I'm looking forward to that more than anything in the world because, somehow we think that, because I was thinking about bariatric surgeries. I was thinking about those Ozempic pens. I was thinking about taking drastic measures. But when I realized that I can do something that was accessible, as accessible as eating different, eating better, incorporating more proteins and more fibers into my diet, I'm at ease with myself again. Because anytime we feel that we have to, step outside of ourselves or consult a doctor or a medical professional, we get anxious. We get anxious. We get nervous, and we become upset. And we begin to internalize things. We begin to say, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. It's just that you need to know what it is that's triggering your cravings. You need to know what it is that's triggering your thirst. And not just cravings. Cravings for sweets. And when you get that sweet, something in your mind says, that's not what I want. And unfortunately, sometimes what it is we want is that steak, because that steak gives us that proteins and those fats that our gut needs in order to metabolize certain fats in our body. Because not only are we metabolizing fats that we take in, we are metabolizing the bacteria that we have in our gut that fuels our immune system, our autoimmune system, and all that is fueled by what we eat and our behaviors and our actions. All of it. how we feel about ourselves, our motivation. And motivation is something that is highly, highly underestimated as far as human behavior goes. And I want to talk about positive motivations, that motivation that we need, that drive that we need, that guides us towards positive behaviors. Because we as human beings are creatures of habit, and we're motivated and we're stimulated by what we see, by what we feel, by what we hear, and we want to continue to make those positive, so that we are driven towards more positive forms of entertainment, behaviors, interactions with people, and we want to. And we want to maintain those positive memories. And that's another thing that affects us, how we eat. When we become anxious and nervous and upset, our body, not only does our body store up fat, but our mind, builds up guards to protect those positive behaviors and those memories that we can reflect on, that keep us going, that help build that motivation, that help build that drive. And all of those things are fueled by what we eat. And what I mean by what we eat is how much protein, how much fiber, how the type of food that we eat that are truly sustaining us. Because after you eat, in order to get hungry after you eat, that ignites a sense of failure, that you didn't eat something right, you didn't eat it right, it wasn't good for you. I'm just talking about how I feel after I eat an entire meal and then I start to crave something else. Am I eating just to punish myself? Am I eating because I don't like myself? And I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. The body does not like feeling hungry. The body does not like feeling thirsty. The body does not like feeling cold. And then once you trigger those emotions, automatically you go into self-preservation mode. Your body begins to shut down, it stores things up, and it reminds you that you're important, that you're still alive, and you need to, you need to act in accordance with that. You need to act like you're alive. You need to eat like you're alive. You need to behave like you're alive. And all of that, all of that is truly, and there are foods out there. There are foods and supplements and behaviors and actions that make you that can fuel your motivation and your drive towards more healthy, more positive behaviors. And how we eat, how we interact with one another, all of that is important. And I didn't know that. If I eat more protein and I eat more fiber, then I'm not going to be hungry. My body is not going to feel starved. I won't encounter those negative behaviors, negative emotions and behaviors, and negative feelings that can make me feel bad about myself and can make me give up on my endeavors. That say, well, oh, it's just not worth it anymore. I don't even want to try anymore. And and I've been there. I've given up on myself, and it is a terrible, terrible feeling. It's a terrible, terrible emotion. And I want to work every day to make sure that when I do have those feelings, that I can, work through them, and I can work through them without triggering hunger or triggering anxiety or triggering depressive, suicidal thoughts, because all of that is just the way our body works. Some people can be driven to psychosis and anger and frustration and resentment, and it begins to manifest itself in negative behaviors. And all of that is kind of depressing. It's depressing to you, it's depressing to the people that you're around, it's depressing to people who are watching you. When you break down and you become angry and you become resentful of what's going on with you, and it affects it affects your quality of life. Yeah, it affects your quality of life. It affects how you feel about yourself. It affects how you feel and treat others. So, and all of that, I'm just saying, it's just something that I kind of picked up on, that when you're not hungry, Your mind is more engaged. Your mind is more focused on creating something for itself. You know, your mind is more focused on creating order, that can motivate you to clean up and organize your living situation so that you can and focus on your work, focus on your goals. Um, when you're not hungry, when those mechanisms are not triggered in your body, when hunger is not triggered, and thirst and any type of deprivation is not triggered, you can do a lot of things. You're motivated to exercise. You're motivated to eat better. You're motivated to learn. You're more motivated and more focused to help somebody. You know, be more helpful, more resourceful, and those are some of the things that I've noticed. And I think that played a huge part in why I gained weight in my life. You know, I felt worthless. I felt useless. I wasn't motivated. I wasn't being creative. And the only thing that I focused on was continue to feed whatever it was in me that was constantly hungry, that was constantly wanting sweets, that constantly felt hungry, you know, and deprived, most of all. You know, deprived of key nutrients and key nutrients that helps, you know, with blood flow, that helps with healing, that helps with sustaining your health and things like that. And all of that is impacted by your diet and how you feel. So, and all of that is triggered by what we eat. And that's, you know, sugar, we know that sugar gives us that high, gives us that energy, gives us that burst. But what about that prolonged energy that we need? You know, you can't spend the rest of your day sitting at your desk or doing what you're doing and constantly feeding yourself. You know, that's not being productive, because eventually something's going to win out. You know, you're either going to say, okay, I've had enough of this, or you're going to constantly give in to those desires to eat. And then you're going to, you know, put on weight and develop health problems. But those are just some of the, I mean, I made a video earlier, but I got cut off before I got into really the meat of the matter that I wanted to discuss. But I want you guys to remember that when you're eating, what's triggering your hunger? You know, are you eating enough fiber? Are you eating enough protein? Are you having those long-lasting feelings of satisfaction and gratification that can be brought on by what you eat? Something to think about. It takes 30 days to break a bad habit. It also takes 30 days to learn a new, more positive, more productive behavior, y'all, with the proper motivation, without feeling deprived and hungry and cold and things like that. Yeah, so, you know, think about it. Peace.